Shalom, my name is Yoshua Yaakov. I'm a didactic scientist. I live in Jerusalem. The name of this video is the paradigm shift. What is the paradigm shift? It is the shift from a mammalian behavioral animal to the ascent of a cognitive being. The particularity is the collapse of the local reality. The phenomenon has been observed empirically, confirmed logically, been observed globally for over 18 years and confirmed. It defines a problem and a solution. And so that is the paradigm shift. And the problem that it defines is man's separation and exile. He's no longer in exile. The collapse of the local reality finishes exile. And so we have a new problem, and that is now denial of the collapse of the local reality. This ended man's exile. That local reality in Israel, and commonly in the diaspora of the Jewish people, was its Zionism. And this collapse is on 4 levels. I'm not going to explain that today. The solution globally is the new East-West convergence model, and its central organizing principle is the new cognitive behavioral science first principle receive it to give. This now brings the secular into the pre-modern modern paradigm shift to the postmodern and redemptive frameworks in the generality, from man's common ascent from a behavioral mammal, as I just said before, to a cognitive being that now compels, firstly, deconstruction of ground zero when the local reality is collapsed. However, if man says, what are you talking about? There's no collapse of the local reality. Everything's fine. Okay, so the model of exile is here in the mind. And when the collapse of the local reality is manifest on the globally on the psychosocial, the behavioral, the cognitive, and the psycholinguistic levels, there'll be deconstruction to be followed by deeper renewal. What does this mean to Klal Yisrael? Okay, in general, and to you in particular, is the collapse of the local reality globally, that it was localized in Israel, began on November 5th, 1995, with Rabin's murder. Okay, and it was confirmed further with 3 intifadas. It was also confirmed on February 4th, 1994, at the time of a Jerusalem World Conference of Religious Leaders, and an event on that day brought another confirmation on the same day, February 4th, 1997, when on Shar Yashiv 2 helicopters collided in 73 of our blessed young soldiers died. The evacuation of the Gush, the attack on a Jerusalem family that threw them and their children in the street, incited some problems with Shemayim. On June 2nd in 2005, Sharon's twice collapsing, Israel's absolute defeat in the Second Lebanon War in July 13, 2006, and all the related events that now in combination confirm the localized effect in Israel and the diaspora, the collapse of the local reality. Enough said, finish. As the collapse of the local reality came to Israel only after it was first localized, it's very important, it didn't begin here. And that was in Iraq in 1991, February 26th to be precise. But the collapse of the local reality wasn't confirmed in Iraq until March 17, 2003. And subsequently, the former Soviet Union in the same year that it was first observed, returning to Iraq in 1991, on December 25th in 1991, it occurred in the Soviet Union. And the next year, 1992, in Yugoslavia. And what happened? Excuse me. Their local reality collapsed. And what was their local reality? It was communism. Okay. Next. The following is the redemptive commentary on Klal Yisrael's existing Amidah's prayer, and this is what this is all about, that provides part of Humanomics' essential content. Why Humanomics? Humanomics is the solution to the problem. Humanomics is the new East-West convergence model. Its central organizing principle is receive and give, and its development in implementation and acculturation affects the convergence of humanomics definition of secular humanism with traditional spiritualism that is the model of moderate Israel in order to effect the ascent to inhabit the quantum reality of redemption and make peace in the area and the region, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this is where we are. So we're all compelled to do this, and I was reading from a preamble and an introduction to the new prayer, redemption prayer of the Amidah that has been rewritten by this author. Okay, now far more important and central to the collapse of the local reality that affects man and mankind is to return to talk about briefly the paradigm shift and its effect. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me, to my family, to my community, to my nation? Okay, let's limit it to just the individual. Every individual on the planet is going to, on some level, in terms of identity resolution, in terms of family relations, spousal relations, family relations, community relations, etc., is going to be confronted with the need to effect identity resolution. Collapse of the local reality means that the model of organized anthropological, socialist, psychologically man and mankind was giving to receive. I give, I get. That was the model. The new model is receiving to give, and to implement that, its new central organizing principle of humanomics, its central technology is identity resolution, and that is the ticket we need, that's the technology we need, to be more precise, to effect and realize the PDD, that's PDD access, which stands for paradox to dilemma to dichotomy. And the collapse of the local reality is a paradox. There's overwhelming evidence that it's happened, and it sounds right, but I don't believe it. I can't see it. It's okay. So that's the paradox. And the klippah of mind that blinds us in exiles giving to receive that has collapsed, that we still deny, tells us falsely, lies to us, and says it's a dilemma. It's merely a choice, lesser of two choices, a lesser of two evils. The dilemma is such, this guy tells me it's collapsed and I have to deconstruct ground. I'm not going to collapse it, so I'll just cling to ground zero. Okay, so that's the, the choice is either you deconstruct ground zero or you remain clinging to ground zero. But the reality is that the dilemma is not a dilemma. We're faced now with a dichotomy. A complete separation is required. And to effect that complete separation, you have to learn to have a healthy distrust. You need to learn the theory of diffidence, to be suspicious of the only you know, love, trust, respect. The one who says there's no God. He's lying to you, folks. She's lying to you. Okay, that's the theory of diffidence. I wrote that many years ago. It means to have a healthy and suspicious, honor him but suspect him in respect of yourself. Get the mirror and don't be conned by you. Okay, so I'm asking you to not believe in the only you know, okay? Because that is the manifestation of mind that's given to receive. That's the model of what was man and mankind. It's collapsed, it's finished. You don't run away from it, you don't escape it. So begin with the theory of diffidence, identity resolution. You got to deconstruct ground zero. You got to deprogram the mind of exile. You got to restore the authentic you, and you got to heal. Okay, welcome to the redemption, folks. And by the way, for the secularists, there's no God. I don't want to hear blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's still, nothing's changed. The local reality collapsed. So for the secular, it's the pre-modern, modern era, and the ascent to the postmodern era. And the central organizing principle of the postmodern era of man and mankind is what? Humanomics in general, and its central organizing receiving to give, which is the new first principle of cognitive behavioral science. Welcome to the postmodern era. Okay, what's the difference? Same thing. Thank you for listening. I'm Didactic Science. I'm the author of Humanomics Trilogy, and I live in Jerusalem, and that's all I can say for you today, folks. So let's get with the program. Time's a wasting. Same problem we're going to be facing tomorrow, the day after, next week, next month, next year, next. So let's get on with it. Thank you for listening. I'm Yeshua Yaakov.